Dave Portnoy and Frankie are crossing the street. I didn't see them at the time. I'm rushing to get to my place because I don't want to miss them. Wow, I'm flying. Who's crossing the road in front of me? I slammed the brakes on. I go, oh my God. I said, he's right there. I pull up on the right. I said, Dave Portnoy, how are you? He goes, who the f*** are you? But laughing, not in a bad way. Yeah. My name's Russell Rinaldi, I said. He goes, how are you? Nice to meet you. I said, what are you doing in town? You doing the pizza reviews? He said, we are. We're talking real quick, and then he goes, Frank, and then we're going, what's that other place next door? I said, that's Cafe Rinaldi. He goes, yeah, Cafe. He goes, oh, wait. He goes, are you the owner? I said, I am. He said, awesome. We'll be at your place in about 20 minutes. I'm closed, I said. He goes, oh, all right. Well, then maybe next time I'm in town. I said, oh, no. I said, I'm closed, but I'm going in, I said.
I'm your host, Brian DiMattia. I'm here with my good and old friend, Russell Rinaldi, Borough Councilman for Old Forge, restaurateur, owner of Cafe Rinaldi in Old Forge. Russ, welcome to Food Fight.
Brian, thank you very much. Pleasure to be here. A little excited, a little nervous, all the same, but I'll tell you what. I know we planned this for about a month and a half now.
Yep.
I mean, schedules, we had to find a little way to get on the same page. I'll tell you what. I'm happy to be here. I'm real excited. I mean, I know we have a lot of good topics we discussed already. We're going to go over some things today. I like to get into it, and I think we're going to have a good time.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man. We had a whole podcast before the podcast.
We did.
I had to shut ourselves up. I knew that was going to happen, so I'm like, okay, we got to keep it quiet a little bit more. I told Bill that we need a little bit more time, so I pulled some strings, and I got us a little more time today, so we could take our time, but we have to make sure we don't spend too much time on the same topic, because we know we can.
Well, he has to understand two things. Number one, we're Italian. Number two, we like to talk, and we could go on forever. So, I mean.
Nonsense, too, sometimes.
Right.
Good topics, nonsense topics. You know what I mean? So there's a lot to talk about. Main talking point is going to be Old Forge pizza, because we both grew up in Old Forge, and we grew up on the same streets. I was on George Street. You were on Gray Street. So we weren't too far away.
About maybe 8 houses away from each other.
Then I ventured up to Bridge Street for a little while, and I moved back to Mary Street where I grew up. And you always lived on Gray Street, right?
I lived on Gray Street, and then I moved out of my Gray Street house when I got married in 2003.
Okay.
And that's when I bought my first house.
2003.
Yeah.
Wow. Remember back in 99, 98? Russ, I remember a story. I'll never forget it. I'll never forget it. I don't know if you remember it. I was going to bring it up, but I have to bring it up.
Go on, bring it up.
I made a comment about you to Dana in high school class.
You were working at Turkey Hill.
And you came behind the fucking counter and got your finger in my face. I was just like, fucking shit. I don't need this aggravation right now. I wasn't going to say anything to you.
No, it's cool.
Yeah, I wasn't going to be I
remember that.
Because you know what, Russ? Honestly, I don't know how you felt about yourself back then, but I was a fucking punk. I was in the 90s. I was a little bit of a punk. I had a little bit of attitude, and I said stupid shit. You know what I mean?
Back then, I didn't feel that way, but as I got older and I look back,
I didn't feel that way either.
Right?
I didn't think.
But as I got older and looked back, I was like, wow, I was a jerk.
You know what? I had a feeling that, and I'm not insulting you by any means whatsoever, because we went through a lot when we were younger.
We did,
and we thought we ran the town. We thought we were the king shit. I know. I thought that way. I'm not speaking for you. But I'm not speaking for you at all.
I've had a lot of those moments. I definitely had a lot of those moments in my youth as well.
And I look back and I shouldn't have made the comment. I forget what the comment was. I forget what it was.
I forget too. But as soon as you said it, I remember you were working at Turkey Hill, and I came right behind the counter. It was like a Friday night or something.
Dude, it was it was over. That's like 26, 27 years ago. Think about that.
Long time.
I was 17, so almost 30 years.
Yeah, I'll be 47.
I got fired from that job because I was eating hot dogs and not paying for them, other kind of shit I was doing, but I was always 17.
I'm sure you weren't the only one.
No, I wasn't the only one. Then when they came in and they showed me the video, we were wearing shorts, you're eating hot dogs, you're scratching off lottery tickets. What the fuck you doing? I'm like, I don't know. I'm in a lot of trouble. And they're like, well, fortunately for you, unfortunately for us, you're a minor. And we shouldn't have you working here alone. So you're fired. And anything else? They're like, no. I'm like, great. I have this left. I was, man. I was
easy way out.
Yeah, I was a punk. I feel like I was making the same amount of money there that they make today. It was like $12. It was like $12 an hour, and I was like 17. I could be wrong about that. Maybe it was $9 an hour, but life was easier back then. I used to smoke back then. Cigarettes were about $3 a pack.
I remember them a little cheaper than that.
I don't smoke now, but I mean they're like $10 a pack.
I haven't smoked. I quit smoking in 2012 on my mother's birthday, actually. And I'll tell you, I haven't even went to look at a pack of cigarettes since, but I know they're very expensive.
Like Newports are like $10 a pack. Could you imagine having a pack a day habit or 2 pack a day habit? $600.
I used to smoke at my highest time from about 2008 to 2011. I was smoking almost 3 packs a day.
Wow, really?
Yeah, that was during my bad years.
Yeah, we're gonna get. Yeah. I know we're both in sobriety, so and we both do our sobriety in our own ways. So we'll definitely get into that in a little while. You know what? Let's get into it right now.
Sure.
Let's get into it right now. It leads into the way our lives are right now. You know what I mean? Growing up in Old Forge, we used to cruise up and down Main Street.
It was one of the best things as a kid I can remember from Old Forge. And there's a lot of good times, and we did a lot of good things, and a lot of people did the same thing. But just going up and down Main Street, I guess it happens in a lot of small towns. As you get older and you're on social media and you see people commenting, even from other areas, like you hear the same stories, like same small towns, drive up one way, turn around, come back.
Yep.
We used to drive up and down. I'm sure you did too.
Sure, absolutely. I couldn't wait to do it.
For hours.
Yeah, when I used to walk up the road.
But remember how many people used to be on the road?
Man, it'd be 20, 30 cars sometimes. And the people walking
How about the
down
people on the
street,
side of the road?
Absolutely amazing.
Be 100 people, kids, all different ages, 14 to 18.
To be.
All the way up and down Main Street, both sides.
Mom, I'm going up the road.
Right.
Now we have to break that down. Now people don't understand that. Mom, I'm going up the road. Mom, I'm going down the road.
Right.
So let's just say we're standing at your restaurant and we're facing the road. So I'm looking at McDonald's, looking at Robbie Notari's dentist place across the street there, right? So anything to the right,
down the road,
or up the road,
or yeah,
anything going towards Taylor's up the road,
is up the road, right?
From that spot,
right? I was looking the other way.
Then anything to the left to Eckerd, or back in the day was Faze,
right?
Or Eckerd for us too, probably, right? That's
Faze,
down the road.
Faze, then Eckerd.
Yeah, that's
down
the road.
Down the road.
So now if you walked up the road to the Borough Building, which we were just talking about how beautiful it is, absolutely beautiful Borough Building.
It is. It was a great remodel process.
Money well spent. It makes me wish I was still paying taxes in Old Forge. You know what I mean? So now if you're standing in front of the Borough Building, staring at Pear Tree Plaza, now your restaurant is down the road.
Right. It all depended on what position, like you just said, depending on what position you were in.
It drives people nuts.
Right.
I'm like, you don't understand it. You don't understand it, man. That's just how it was. So let's go back to
it was great.
Cruising up and down the street, people walking around the street. I remember being 15, walking up the street, and I'm just like, I can't wait to drive. All I want to do is cruise up and down the street, and I finally got my license, and now I'm cruising up and down the street. And then you get now it's like, it's kind of like a rite of passage. Because then the older people, they go away to college or they go wherever. Now they're not cruising up and down the street yet. Well, some of them still. There's probably still some people doing it right now.
There might still be some. There's
a couple of people that were consistent up and down for like 3 hours. You have to stop. You got parking Blockbusters.
You would definitely have to stop.
Parking Rite Aid.
Because remember, like you said, you stop maybe in Pear Tree, there'd be 20, 30 kids, maybe more.
Yep.
Some boys, some girls.
Please come chase us out. And then we spend an hour. We go to the next parking lot. The next parking lot.
We used to hang out at the wall by the bank.
Oh yeah.
The wall by Michael's hair salon. The
dentist place.
The dentist place next to the VFW.
Yep. So the dentist place. There was a donut shop. Was a Curry Donut, Dunkin' Donuts, Donut Connection.
There was all of them Mr. Donuts. There was a lot of donut shops.
I don't remember Mr. Donut.
Remember the pool hall next to it?
Oh yeah.
Nishman's Pool Hall?
Yes.
What a great place to be.
Until it wasn't.
But it was great because as a kid to go there, play pool, play video games, talk to girls, talk to your friends. Yeah. It was a great meetup spot. Yeah. I remember shooting pool there 15 years old. This is after.
Oh, okay, so you were doing that well before I was even up the road. Because we're about 4 years apart.
I'll be 47 this June.
I'll be 43, and so we're all 4 years apart.
Right.
So I didn't experience that pool hall that way.
Well,
experienced it a
the
different
original
way.
pool hall was down the road now.
Oh, where was
where
that?
the Family Dollar is.
Really?
There used to be an old joint there, and next to it, that was his original pool hall. It was a small little pool hall he had there. And then his father and him moved up to where the produce place used to be. The building isn't there anymore.
Okay.
There's a vacant lot there.
Yeah.
So the original one was down on Main Street. It was a little small place.
It was. Oh, okay. So it was one of those. They were like all those buildings were together.
Well, Schwartz's was on the corner.
It was one of those buildings,
and it was the next building.
Okay.
It was the next building to the right, going up the road.
Going up the road.
Yeah.
I got you. Schwartz's was hanging out, sit there.
Schwartz's was
hang out
great
there.
at the light.
I know you remember the best New York style pizza ever.
It's so crazy you brought it up, and I figured you would because obviously we're going to talk about pizza.
Yeah.
Antonio's.
Antonio's.
I was thinking about it last night.
I have a story. Go ahead.
I have a great story.
Okay. You go first.
Okay.
All right.
Now, we used to go to Antonio's all the time. Mario, broken English, from Italy.
The Pac-Man machine.
Right.
Yeah.
Flipping the dough. Like, the whole works. Like, his broken English. Then he'd be yelling at you in Italian. Mario, with all due respect, had a beautiful daughter, I remember.
Yeah, I remember.
I was about 16. She was about 15. She used to go in there. He had a couple other kids, I think, too, but I just remember this. His one daughter, she's about 15. So I'm in there with a couple of my friends after school. We stop in, we get a soda, we get a slice of pizza. We're sitting down.
$3.
Right. We're sitting down in those old style boots, the real
can
hard,
picture them.
uncomfortable ones.
Picture them, bro. The red.
She's in the corner. She's doing her homework. And I'm like, she is a beautiful girl. I said, I want to go over and talk to her. I said, they're like, that's Mario's daughter. I'm like, I'm just going to go over and talk to her. I said, I said, I'm gonna ask him. So I walk up to the counter. Remember, he had the counter with the pizzas and everything.
Picture it, bro. Picture it.
I said, Mario, and he talks in that, and I can't do his accent, but it was, I can't forget it in my mind ever.
You can't mimic it.
But I can't mimic it. But, well, what do you want, Russell? And I said, I said, your daughter over there. Yeah. Stay away. He'd be. Yeah. I said, no. I said, what's her name? I said, I'm going to go over and talk to her. Oh, you don't go and talk to her. He flipped out. He comes running from around the counter. He had remember the big wooden table, the oven's behind him?
Yeah.
He grabs the knife. He had a big knife. He had the pizza stuff. He comes running around the counter. He chased me outside. Remember, he always had the white apron on,
Always,
the
bro.
white pants, the white shirt.
Never seen anything else.
The full Italian, New York style pizza man.
Yep.
He was the spitting image.
He was.
He had the shoes head to toe. Anyways, he chases me outside. I run. I mean, obviously, number one.
You had no choice.
I definitely had no choice. But number one, I'm about 4 feet, maybe 10 inches at the time. I'm a 16-year-old kid. I weighed about 100 pounds. I was fast as lightning. Mario wasn't catching me. Many people weren't catching me back then. So I run. After I run, he yells. I come back in. And I'm like, Mario, I said, because I was up, my mother took me there as a kid. I've been going there now since I'm like 4. But we used to go with all of our friends. So anyways, back to the story. And it's over after this. But I said, Mario, and he like, you stay away from her. So I mean, after that day, I never even looked at her.
I love it.
And we would go on there all the time.
You hiding.
I might have taken a little peek. She was a beautiful girl. And all I wanted to do was talk to her.
Yeah.
And I just wanted her name. I figure, what better way than to ask her father? He didn't feel that way. I stayed away.
He used to always go, you never had the Pac-Man machine plugged in. Mario,
Right.
I play the Pac-Man machine. You want to play the Pac-Man machine? The Pac-Man machine? Then we graduated. We got a little older. So 15, smoking. Remember, I lit up a Newport. And he had ashtrays on the table.
Right.
But yet freaked out that I was smoking in there. I'm like, he didn't care so much about it was the cigars he didn't like, because I was a little punk walking around and smoking a cigar for no reason, you know what I mean? Trying to be cool, disgusting, not enjoying it at all. But so, my Antonio story, besides, the tradition of going there all the time and those Italian hoagies and the New York style pizza, he was the only New York style pizza place in Old Forge. There's never been, there was a place on Oak Street.
Years later, Speakeasies.
But besides that, there wasn't too many ever.
No, then after Speakeasies, there was a place called Sacone's.
Yeah, Speakeasies was good.
But back then, when we were younger, Antonio's, I remember, was the only round pizza.
The only place. So Rocco went to Antonio's in Wilkes-Barre, not too far from here, a few months ago. And he's eating the pizza. It's over by the hospital. over by the hospital. He's eating the pizza.
No relation to. Okay.
Oh,
all right.
Give me a second.
I apologize.
Yeah, no, it's okay. So Rocco's eating the pizza, and he's like, man, this tastes just like Antonio's in Old Forge. Like, just like it. The only time we ever came across another slice like that was up by the University of Scranton. It was called City Slice.
Oh, I know where it is.
So City Slice, it's been gone for a long time. But when I was going to college and Rock was going to college, we used to go there once in a while. It was very similar, you know. But Rock was eating his pizza at Antonio's in Wilkes-Barre, which I have not visited yet. He calls me up and goes, listen, he goes, long story short, this guy knows Mario. Possibly the same pizza, possibly the same recipe. Mario's down in Florida right now. Remember he left us?
Yes.
I'll be back in a year. We're still fucking waiting, Mario.
Yeah, where are you at?
Where are you, bro?
Bring us a slice.
Go, get that Chinese restaurant out of there. We only need one Chinese restaurant in Old Forge. We don't need the other one in there. We need you to
bring us a slice.
Move back into your spot, and I'll be right over to do a review. But this pizza, it's the same recipe. They both started it together around the same time back in the day. It's not Mario's brother, but it was like Mario's brother's nephew or something like that. I have to go get the whole story, so I'll keep you up to date on that.
Definitely.
Yeah. So
I'm gonna go try it actually, because you know what's funny, like how we just said, you know, you talk about like not just Old Forge, but you talk about your childhood, you talk about growing up, like talking about Mario's. You could taste the pizza right now.
I could.
Instantly.
I taste the Italian hoagie.
You could taste the hoagie.
You could taste the hoagie, the way he toasted it.
I can remember walking over and just the smell of the place as soon as you walked in. Just a great, it was just, talk about great memories. That's a great one.
So I'm glad you brought up the smell, that you can smell it. So what's better? There's no smell better than Old Forge, Main Street on a Friday night during football season, when the lights are on, parade starts down. The parade used to go down Gray Street every year. I lived on George. I just would walk down half the block, sit on that rock wall by the yellow house, watch the parade, and then go to the game. Then I played football myself. Then I didn't play all my high school career. I quit. That was a whole other story. You know what I mean? But Friday night, all the pizza places were popping. Everybody was busy. There wasn't one place in particular. If you went to any pizza place before or after a football game on a Friday night, you were waiting.
No doubt.
You were waiting, no matter where you went.
No doubt.
Your place used to be your spot used to be Mucciolo's.
Mucciolo's, yeah.
You used to go to Brudigo's, get yelled at. So I didn't go there. Never walked in there. She yelled at us.
I used to work there.
She didn't want any kids in there.
I worked there when I was 14.
Did you?
Yeah.
She didn't want any kids in there on Friday night, man. Never. I never ate there before.
That was almost our first restaurant. We almost bought that place first.
Okay.
Before we opened up.
Did you always own the building you're in now?
No. Our original place was right where, actually, it's cliche. It's where Domino's is now.
Oh, I remember.
Rinaldi Pizza Company.
I'm saying, but did you always own? I thought your family always owned the Mucciolo, the building where Mucciolo's was.
We bought that building in January 6, 2000.
I think I remember you telling me that. Yeah. Okay. I thought you were just like, Mucciolo, it's time for you to get out.
No.
We're coming in.
No. Great friends of ours, great family.
They had some good food.
I'm going to tell you what.
Remember their Italian dressing?
I do.
The creamy Italian. I never had anything like it before.
Babe Mucciolo's, number one, he made great everything, but he made great pizza. Babe Mucciolo's.
Pizza was good.
I'll never forget it. And not to jump off topic, because I know we're going around a little bit. 1999, December is when I went over there at the time with my girlfriend, Dana. She was working at the other restaurant with me. That's when we had Rinaldi Pizza Company. And we used to go over there for veal parm. And he made it the old way. And I don't even make it this way. He made it the way where you have the cutlet, the cheese, the sauce on top. Because a lot of places do it that way. A lot of places put the cutlet, sauce, cheese on top. That's how we do it.
Okay.
But he made it the old way. But we used to go over there for veal parm. But I used to go over there prior for veal parm too. I used to go over there for other things. But that's the night we went over there. And he says to me, why don't you buy this place?
I remember you telling me that.
He said, why don't you buy this place? He said, my brother has the Cardinal Inn up on 502. I think where the Highbridge House is now. I think it's the Highbridge House.
Okay.
And he said, he was talking about maybe selling it, maybe this. And I'm going to be honest with you. In a month, we were working out a deal. That's how it came about, where we transitioned from Rinaldi Pizza Company to buying Mucciolo's
I got to stop
building.
you for 1 second.
Go
I
ahead.
do not remember it being called Rinaldi Pizza Co. And you just posted a picture of that a few days ago.
My sister just
I'm
posted
staring
it
at it.
on
I'm
our
like-
page
I'm like,
in the little neon.
don't get me wrong, it was a long
letters.
time ago, but I
Yeah.
don't remember it being. I remember going there and eating. Food was great.
We opened up there in August of '96. I was 19.
Holy fucking shit.
Yeah, 19. I was a year out of school. I graduated in 1995. We opened up in August of '96. I was 19. My brother Ricky was 21.
There used to be a little hoagie shop in there, Pazzo's. Remember Pazzo's? Remember Rocco Sacchiotti's father, Paul, and Bingo?
Yeah. Oh well, yeah, I know those guys well.
So
they had a hoagie shop there.
It was so Bingo had it down on Lonesome Road. It was called Pazzo's. It was Shoeback's Garages.
Okay.
Not Shoeback's garage, but the building to the right of it.
Okay.
Used to be Jitty Joe's there.
Right, used to be the ice cream stand.
And then Pazzo's, and then they opened up next to Blockbuster. Either it was Malcolm's down or whatever the fuck was going on over there now.
Well, it was Blockbuster,
You know
Malcolm's.
what? You know what it is? You know where it was? It's where the extension for the gym went to. That room used to
So
be.
that would have been
You know about one of them? One of them
Right.
used to be Pazzo's.
In
It
the
might
little
have
strip
been-
mall.
Yeah. So it used to be Pazzo's, Hoagies. Was there for a little while.
I don't
It's a
remember.
nice
that.
little Italian shop. It was
How
before,
old were you when that was? Because was that before our place was there?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It was before you guys were there. So before 96, obviously.
Right. So I was probably maybe around 16, 17, maybe 15.
I was probably 12.
So I was about 16
11,
then.
because I remember Teen League Baseball, 12, 13 years old. So probably not too far before. That wasn't there that long, though. It was there for a while.
I don't remember that. That's interesting. That
Pazzo Import. The Pazzo Import was Italian hoagie, was super sod. That's all I remember. But it was amazing, though. Lettuce, tomatoes, sweet peppers.
to this
know?
day, Bingo still makes his own meats. Loans his super size
Does he really?
in his basement.
Oh,
and
yeah?
I'm gonna tell you something. There's still some of the best Loans and super sods I ever ate in my
They're
life.
so good. I could taste the salt on them. They're so good.
They're fantastic.
They're so good. So were you finished with the restaurant story? I apologize. I totally.
Oh no. I was just
derailed you on
I was
that
just saying that's how where you brought it up. That's how we transitioned from Rinaldi Pizza Company
one. All right.
into Cafe Rinaldi, right over that one dinner where me and her went.
Okay, I understand. So, history of Old Forge Pizza. Obviously, your family is very rooted in it. But let me just read something I got off the Google. All right. Gingerelli's is believed to be where what now known as Old Forge Pizza originated. It's said that in 1926, Grandma Gingerelli served a rectangular pizza to the miners that used to play cards at the bar she owned with her husband. It was an instant hit. What's your opinion on that?
Definitely, all the stories I've heard over the years from all walks of life in Old Forge, men, women, older, younger, my family members, my friends, probably some enemies, all the stories.
Yeah.
It started way back when they used to call her Old Lady Gigerelli.
Okay.
There was a few other places back then too.
I want to picture it, Russ. Is it the same building now on the corner?
I heard it was.
That's the original. That's the original Gingerelli's. That's where it all started, right there.
Well, that's the original Gingerelli's, and it's crazy because I have a picture in my kitchen hanging. It was only half of that though. It was 2 storefronts. The original
Okay.
was 2 storefronts.
I can
And one of
picture
my
that.
father's friends dropped a picture off to us about a year ago. We have it hanging in our kitchen actually. Same building though. You know how it's big style with the barn type looking, 3 floors. But on the left side, it was a different store, and on the right side was the place they serve pizza. But actually, back then, this is where I was going with the story with going on the topic with the story of what you heard over the years.
Yeah.
Back then, they were storefronts, but in the back room of them, they weren't restaurants yet. In the back room of them, they used to call them speakeasies.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So you would have your storefront in front, and in the back, you would have your speakeasy, where men would go, play cards, hang out with the guys.
Drink water. It's prohibition then too. When the year was prohibition, 29, right?
29.
Somewhere in that area. If we're wrong, just fucking drop it in the comments and correct us, man. It's all good, man. I didn't do my prohibition history, but I think it was right around that time, though.
So there was there was a few other places in town that I heard. There's a few other storefronts with speakeasies, My father's grandma, which would be my great-grandma Lorenzi, they had a storefront right where
I just read that online.
Arcaro and Janelle's is.
Yeah.
They had a storefront many years ago, probably like in the 20s, and same type of setting, storefront, speakeasy and back. But the main street was lined with them. There was the Pelusi's had one, which then they turned where Ravillo's is now.
Okay.
If you look up on the building, there's a P. It was the
no
old
shit.
Pelusi building, right?
Okay.
Yeah, right at the top.
All right.
The Talarico's had one. Brutico's had one. They were storefronts.
Was Talarico's on the corner where CVS is now?
No.
Where they used to, okay, go
No,
ahead.
no,
Okay.
no. I don't know where the original one was. That's one of the grandchildren, Paul.
Oh, food was great.
Fan-
Fat Boys before that?
Fat Boys before
We'll get
that.
into all that. Yeah.
Paul's red sausage pizza.
My fucking God, it was so good.
It was so, he used to have the
his
sausage
gnocchis were
chopped
so
up
good,
so
too.
small. I used to love it. My
Yeah.
dad used to order it because my dad had a car joint behind there too. That's a whole nother story. But he used to order all the food for the guys. Getting back to the pizza and the
Yep.
speakeasies. So a lot of places had them. Now, to give the credit, I don't have the exact answer, but there was a lot of names. Mrs. Gigerelli's name, Ole Gigerelli, she's always brought up because she had one of the first storefront speakeasies. My grandma Lorenzi, my great grandma, my father's grandma Lorenzi, Mrs. Pelusi, the Talarico's. I'm not really sure if we could. I don't think there's anyone alive today that we could really get the truth.
There's somebody.
Well, we'd have to find them.
We'd have to, if you're out there,
Please,
if you're
contact
out
us.
there and you're in your hundreds and you're listening to this podcast, let us fucking know.
Let us know, please. Now, here's the other part of it, which I'm sure a lot of people know, but they usually just give like the cut and dry short version. Old Forge Pizza, created long time ago, this, and this. But there's a little more of a back history to it. And I got this from my father, and like I said, a lot of other people older than me who grew up back then. Pizza didn't, from what I heard, Old Forge Pizza didn't start out as pizza in restaurants. It started out as a food in the back of speakeasies, and it sort of follows the same thing you'll read online. The miners would come in.
Big mining town.
Big,
For those that don't know, Old Forge
big mining town.
was a huge mining town back in the area. Scranton, everything back in the day. So Old Forge there's mines all over the place, whole
All
area.
over.
But
The whole area.
super busy place in Old Forge back in the day. Please continue.
Always a great place for a lot of hustle and bustle.
A lot of restaurants on Main Street.
A lot of restaurants, a lot of
24-hour restaurants.
A lot of businesses too. Back to the pizza. It was around that time, and not certain on the year, because again, if we could find that one person out there, please let us know. But to the stories again, back then, pizza started out at the house, moved to the speakeasies, and then to the restaurant. That's the story I got. How it started out at the house was, back then, obviously, not only in Old Forge, probably throughout the country, through the area, a lot of people were poor. A lot of people didn't have a lot of money. A lot of people had a lot of children. A lot of people had a lot of children. So you were looking for a way to feed your family cheap and in bulk, basically.
Yeah.
You grew all your own stuff. You grew all your own tomatoes. You canned all your own tomatoes back then. You made your own cheeses. My father's great-grandmother and a lot of people back then had their own goat in their yard.
Amazing. I would love to see like 100 years ago.
Could you imagine?
Imagine just walking through the streets 100 years ago.
My great-grandma,
that'd be amazing.
I would love to see it too, but taking the story from my father and his brothers and my uncles, my grandmother and a lot of them back then, houses had their own, everyone had their own garden.
Sure.
For all different types of foods, whether it be growing tomatoes, lettuce, vegetables, things you could bring into the house, make soups with, sandwiches, dinner with, because you couldn't just go to the store and just go on a shopping list. They did have every little neighborhood had stores all over the place,
Right.
but not everyone could go out every night and buy stuff and have steaks for no one had the money.
Yeah.
So everybody would grow their own tomatoes, can them. Everyone would have their own goat. Everyone made their own bread. dough, hoagie buns, which originally started out that way, but then turned into, wherever it came along, the stories I got, you got your tomato, you got your cheese, you got your bread. It wasn't called pizza dough. It was just bread.
Bread.
The old ladies, the mothers of these families, of these children at the houses would make bread, pan it into sheets. Nobody had round pans.
Mm-hmm.
I think, and my father told me, and my Uncle Pete, who was a very well-educated man and good on history, he told me nobody had round pans. Everyone had baking trays, cookie sheets, rectangular pan, what we know today as a rectangular pizza pan.
Mm-hmm.
So in order to feed nine members in your family, you would make larger amounts of stuff. So you would make, instead of making a small tray or a small portion of it, you would make
The big one.
big ones. Mm-hmm. So you could have enough for your family, or maybe make two. That's the story I got, where pizza started in the houses. Then they started serving it, excuse me, in the speakeasies when the miners would come in. And like you said, might have been during Prohibition, but that doesn't mean they weren't serving alcohol in the back room, obviously. Now, I know, for instance, my father told me in his grandma's store, in Mrs. Pelusi's store, in Mrs. Gigerelli's, behind the stores where we're talking about the speakeasies, the miners would come in, whether drink legal or illegal wine, and they would want something to eat. They used to give it away for free. They didn't charge back then. My great-grandma Lorenzi in the beginning did not charge when she was, now what the other places did, I'm not sure. My father said they didn't charge either. My uncle said they didn't charge. A lot of people said they would just give it away for free to keep the miners there so they would drink more, spend more.
That's great.
So after a while of this, and I don't know how many years, a lot of these old Italian women, their families had restaurants. Gigerelli's then had a restaurant. My great-grandma Lorenzi had a restaurant. Where our Karen Janelle's is now, her family had there. They had Bruticos, where next door to me. They had Pelusi's, that was originally, then became Ravillo's.
Okay.
And the other restaurants throughout Old Forge. I'm not sure how many were back then. My place used to be called DeVita's. This is going back to the 40s. That was the first of 4 restaurants.
Same building?
Same exact building. I mean, we added on to it now and remodeled, but my place, I'm the 4th restaurant in there, me and my family, but the original was DeVita's.
So DeVita's?
DeVita's.
What was before Mucciolo's?
Lettieri's.
Okay, Lettieri's.
Mucciolo's and Cafe Rinaldi.
I love it. I didn't know that.
Yeah. Mr. DeVita, Sam, Sr., he's actually still in the building.
Is he?
He is.
Love it.
He's actually still in the building. And he lets us know he's there from time to time.
I bet he does.
There's a story behind it.
Okay.
And I asked his great-grandson about it, Sam DeVita IV, who comes in with a lot of his friends and family to this day. And I saw him in the basement one time. This is no joke. I saw an image of someone in the basement one time, and I never seen Mr. DeVita in my life. The old man, I mean, the original. Mm-hmm. And I told the grandson about it, and he said, "What do you look like?" And I explained it to him. Back then, mostly black pants, white shirt, apron, typical Italian restaurant owner. But he said, that's exactly what he wore, tall, skinny guy, white hair. He said, that was him. He said, "Look, I got chills." He goes, I said, "You?" I said, "I have chills." You know what I mean? Yeah. And every now and then, things happen in the basement.
Listen, I believe it.
Yeah.
I got ghosts in my apartment. I'll tell you that story later on, but I'm convinced of it. I still want to see it with my own 2 eyes, but you know what I mean? But I'm not a non-believer.
Right. I caught a glimpse of him in the basement in the back. I was actually, this is a long time ago when we first bought the place, I was washing aprons and towels. We had our own washer and dryer down there at the time, before we hired a linen service to do it for us. But in the beginning, we used to wash our own, and that's where I saw him.
Is that when you hired the linen service right afterwards? I'm not going back down there to do laundry. It's now a new bill.
I'm going to be honest with you. I think that's when we budgeted for the new linen service.
I love it. I probably would have too. I would have freaked me out a little bit. So real fast. I was talking real fast on this series of the ghosts. I'll tell you my apartment story, okay? Moved in with my fiance, Shannon, Kingston, right around the corner about 2 years ago. So about 4 or 5 things have happened so far. The hall lights wouldn't go on the one time, all right? Her brother had passed away. So the hall lights.
Sorry to hear that.
Yep. So the day that he passed away, on the anniversary of it, the hall lights wouldn't go on the hall lights wouldn't go on in the apartment. Big long hallway, all the lights up top wouldn't go on, right? So I don't know why not going on. Every other light in the apartment would go on except for the hall light, right? There's 3 lights up there. They wouldn't go on, right? For about an hour. She must have left the switch on. Boom, they pop on an hour. So what the fuck, right? So that's one thing. I decorated for Halloween the one year. I hung a picture up in her bedroom, in the one bedroom. Hung it up on a nail where there's no fucking way that it's falling off.
Right.
The only possibility is that I hung it on the nail on the string, hung it like hanging off the nail, which I didn't do that. Okay, that's me justifying the insanity of this happening, right? So we're laying down on the couch, we're watching TV. I hear boom, boom, boom. Like, what the fuck was that, right? Check the hallway, check the kitchen, nothing, right? Hear it again. What the fuck, right? The next day, doing laundry, I noticed the picture was off the wall, on top of the dresser. I'm like, that's more than likely what the noise was last night. But why so many noises? And how did it fall off? So that's one. That's another one. That one freaked me out. I'm in the kitchen, and the washer starts. Do you know what it takes to get a washer started? You got to tool the nozzle. You got to twist it. You got to pull it out, right? So I took clothes out of the dryer before that. So my explanation again is like, all right, I took the clothes out of the dryer and somehow a piece of clothing got caught on the knob, twisted it to fucking start, and then it came out. It was just waiting to come out. How does that happen, right?
I don't think it does.
It doesn't. I'm standing in the kitchen washing dishes. I get this overwhelming smell of cigarette smoke coming out of wherever. Now, no one in the building that I know smokes. If they do, they probably smoke outside. Even if they did, why would the smoke come through my vent? Super strong. It came in my nose and left in a matter of like 5 seconds. Her brother smoked. So who knows if this drops in once in a while. So like 4 incidences, you know what I mean? I definitely saw some shadow people in the apartment more than once. Though with the one time where it really freaked me out, it turned out to be, I come home. I noticed that Shannon left her curling iron on the counter over by the coffee machine to cool down, right? So I put it away, right? Clean up, go around. I go back out. I come back home that night. Now, she works all day long. I come back home. I see the curling iron back to where it was on the counter. And I'm like, what the fuck is this, right?
Something's going on.
Well, first thing I come in the apartment. I see the foam roller is out in the living room. I'm like, that wasn't there earlier. Or was it? It's possible. You know, it's possible.
Did I miss it?
It's possible that I was foam rolling earlier. I don't remember putting it away. The bedroom doors were closed. We have 2 bedrooms in our apartment. The bedroom doors are closed. I'm like, what the fuck? Like
You're the only one home?
I'm the only one home now.
Okay.
I'm like, Paul, all right, why had the door? I'm like, maybe the air conditioning was on and they closed the doors a little bit. You know, they weren't fully closed. Then I get into the kitchen. By now, the hair is starting to stand up.
Yeah.
Get into the kitchen.
It's starting to stand up over here. Just hearing the story.
I turn on the light. I see the fucking curling iron back to where it was. I'm like, oh, this is it. I'm getting ready to move. I'm getting ready to get packed up and move, right? Put the curling iron away. Now I'm freaking out. I'm like, this is fucking insane what's going on right now, right? Open the fridge up. I'm still hungry. Open the fridge up. I see there's food in there that wasn't there. So now I know she was home during the afternoon and I didn't know. Bro, Russ, I tell you right now, man, it was over. I was leaving the apartment. I was done.
Stick, bag on it, ready
Nothing.
to go.
I wouldn't bring anything with me because God knows who's hanging on the wall.
Old style, moving out.
Absolutely fucking insane. Anyways, enough ghost stories for the day.
Love it.
Let's get back to the Old Forge Pizza.
Okay.
I think you're headed somewhere now. Speakeasies, they're starting to sell it out of their own restaurants.
Right.
Is there a story behind why? I understand you said it was rectangle because of the pans.
Because of the pans.
Now I don't know if you told me or somebody else told me that another reason why it stayed rectangle because somebody owned the shoe store and
I was going to get into
please.
it.
Yes, go ahead, please.
And this is an interesting story. And this this goes back even to someone, he's passed away now, Baby Joe Lettieri, one of the owners of Salerno's and a great friend of our family, hard worker, restaurant owner when he was alive. His family still runs it. Great people, great family, great friends of ours. But he's in this story as a kid, and my father told me this story. And but a lot of people in Old Forge know this story. So, right, Speakeasies, give it away for free, keep the minors there to drink.
Prohibition, 1920 and 33.
Yeah.
I looked it up, and we're right.
Right.
Yeah, go ahead.
We are. Okay.
I had to look it up.
We're Italian. We like to be on point.
Make sure we're right.
Right. And make sure we're right, especially if we're going to start arguing.
And if I'm wrong, I'm still fucking right.
Still right,
Yeah,
no
that's
matter
so you
what.
know.
I love it. Speakeasies, give it away for free, keep the minors there. Now, a few years go by, we're coming into one of the world wars. So a lot of people, obviously, are either enlisted, coming back home, enlisted, passing through town. So now, Old Forge starts getting crowds of people coming in. Maybe, like I said, just passing through during the war, before it, during it, after it. So now, when people are passing through, especially men coming out of the war, going from here to New York to leave, they would stop in. Now these were the restaurants selling some food, some booze, and now pizza. In the old days, back then, once they start selling it, well, obviously it starts to catch on. Now, you can't bring, or you shouldn't bring, your wife or your children to a speakeasy with a bunch of guys in the back room, minors.
Sounds fair. Sounds fair. Rough crowd.
Rough crowd. Tough.
Tough, rough.
Dirty.
Looking
Person.
for action.
Fighting.
Yep.
So, but
what a time to be alive, I bet.
awesome. I could picture it now and love to be there. But you know where you could bring your family? To the restaurants. So now the restaurants, instead of giving it away to the speakeasies and back, they would, the families who opened up the businesses, the restaurants, or had them already, started selling pizza in their dining rooms. Getting to the war and the GIs and the army men, like I was saying, they would come through, and this is an old story. My father and a lot of the people told me they would come through, and they would want, now, could we take this home? And they were like, no, like we just serve it here. Like there's no way to take it home. And they're like, that would be great if we could take it home. Like, could bring some to my wife, bring some home to my children, bring some to my mom. And they're like, no. So after a little bit, and I don't know who started it, but after a little bit, maybe just a year or so, 6 months, 8 months, they start thinking, my father said, hearing the old stories, how do we get this pizza to give to people to go?
Think about that.
Right. Like think about like the
new concept.
The intuition of how you get from serving it in a back room for free just to keep people there, turn it into let's sell it and make some money.
Yeah.
To let's give it to them to take home.
They come pick it up and take it home. What does that mean?
Right. Or come here and
Take
eat
it
it a little
home.
bit, wrap it up, take it home. Well, however it came to be, there was a place called Maury Fox Shoe Store. I'm not exactly sure where it was located on Main Street. Maury Fox. Someone said, whoever it may be, why don't we ask Mr. Fox to save some of the shoe boxes?
Amazing. I remember that story.
Save some of the shoe boxes and let's pack the pizza in those. Put a piece of wax paper down, cardboard box with the lid. Maybe that'll work. So somebody goes to him, whoever again, asks him to start saving boxes because they threw them out anyways.
Okay.
They get the boxes. Now the boxes were small.
Right. So how they compensate for that?
In the beginning, the boxes were small. They were free. Nobody had money to pay for boxes, so they got the free boxes at a certain, whatever the dimension was, but the dimension only fit 4 cuts of red pizza.
I can picture that.
4 cuts of red pizza.
4 cuts, not a slice.
Not a slice. A
It's
cut.
not a slice. It's a cut.
Not a tray. Or I'm sorry, not a pie. It's
Not
a
a
tray.
pie. It's a tray.
I'm excited. I got ahead of myself.
That's okay, Russ. Let me pause for a second.
Sure.
If you are selling Old Forge pizza, style Old Forge pizza, and you're not from Old Forge, don't advertise it on your Facebook pages or on your advertising pages. Old Forge pizza, 12 cut pie. It's not a pie.
It's a tray.
It's a tray. It's a tray. Advertise it correctly. I see a few places. I'm not going to call them out.
Right.
Advertise it correctly. It's not a big deal, but it's a big deal. Genoa Wholesale Foods, supplying quality since 1947. For over 75 years, Genoa Wholesale Foods has been your trusted partner for premium food supplies. Specializing in services to pizzerias, Genoa also caters to restaurants, bakeries, delis, and bars throughout Northeastern Pennsylvania. They proudly offer a blend of both private label and national brands, helping you find the perfect products to meet your restaurant needs. With local deliveries and the care of a family-owned business, they are committed to making your success their priority. Choose Genoa Wholesale Foods for reliable, top-quality restaurant supplies that keep your business running smoothly. Genoa Wholesale Foods, locally owned and operated for 3 generations. Call Genoa today at 570-823-6142 or visit them online at www.genoafoods.com. Looking for the perfect grooming experience for your pup? Welcome to Carley's Fairy Tale Dog Grooming, located at 8 North Main Street in Pittston. We offer boutique-style grooming with a focus on quality over quantity. Your furry friend will enjoy a cage-free, stress-free environment where they will feel comfortable and pampered. At Carley's, we make sure every dog leaves feeling and looking like royalty. Call 541-410-9582 or stop in today to book your appointment at Carley's Fairy Tale Dog Grooming. Anyways, continue.
So, it is a big deal.
It is a big deal. God damn it, it's a big deal.
And it's a
Stop
good,
doing it.
And it's a good point made. Mm-hmm. So, shoe boxes, 4 cuts of pizza, cut in the box, start giving it. What happens? It's almost like the takeout business of Old Forge Pizza is born.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
Other places catch on. We also had other shoe stores in town, they said back then. So now they're going to these shoe places and they're saying, we'll buy the boxes off you. Well, we'll give them to you. You know, probably a whole different feeling back then. Still a lot of good people around today, a lot of good family and friends. Back then, though, people were like, we'll just give it to you. Everyone was looking to help each other. I mean, and there's still people doing that today.
Forge, yeah.
Oh, in Old Forge, please.
Yep.
It's one of the, I'm sure we'll touch on it. I'm not saying anything about any other towns around us, but no town like Old Forge.
No, you have
in my eyes, in my heart, no town like Old Forge.
You literally have your rival across, quote unquote, rival across the street, but you're both super busy. I know Angelo's told me from Carol and Janelle's, I go over to Russ and borrow food. You borrow food off of him. A busy Friday night, go to Cusimano's. Yeah, I need some Parmesan cheese. Here you go.
I ran over. We bar every restaurant bars off every restaurant in Old Forge. I run over Angelo's last Friday night. In my apron, out of my kitchen, 7 o'clock at night, excuse me, I have a table orders 5 lobster tails. I usually keep maybe only 6 to 8 on hand. I get 1 pound lobster tails. Very rarely will a table come in and order 5.
Yeah, that's a rare thing.
I have,
especially in Old Forge. I have to agree with that. Yeah,
right.
But
I have 4
yeah.
in my freezer. My one chef looks at me and goes, I only have 4 lobster tails. What do you want me to do? I'm looking around in the freezer. We only have maybe 2 freezers for all my homemade pastas because everything is fresh. For some stuff like that, like whether it be the frozen shrimp or the frozen lobster tails, keep the raviolis that you made in there. I said, let me maybe run over next door and ask one of the other places. So I run over first to TJ's, Cusimano's, TJ Nina's. They didn't have the size I needed. They used a little bit of a smaller size.
Okay.
So I need a pound tail. I run right over to Angelo's. He just has the takeout business now in the catering. He never reopened the restaurant after the pandemic.
By that.
But I run over. I call him on the phone. As I'm running over, he said, I'm not there. Mark is there. Run right in. Whatever you need. as always, we tell them the same thing. The other places, we do it with them, they do it with us. I run right in. There's Mark, 7 o'clock. Restaurant's not open because, like we said, after pandemic, still extremely busy.
I know. Right?
Catering, takeout. They have that takeaway kitchen. Great place.
Donald Trump was there.
He was.
Yep,
Pizza. We'll get into that.
Yep.
I run in, apron, frantic. Now the order at my place is already in for about 7-8 minutes. My guy is holding the other 4 lobster tails. You can't make 4 and not 5. You got to put them all in together. Mark, Angelo called me. He said, Russ, he's busy. Russ, back there. They have a big place.
Yeah.
Bigger than mine. You know, storage areas, freezers, coolers, big garage in the back for all their catering stuff. Russ, back there. He's screaming to me. In the freezer over here. I'm searching through freezers. I find them. He said, take whatever you need. Bring it back. Don't bring it back. I'll come borrow something off you one day. I said, thanks. I grabbed 2 of them. I said, let me grab 2 just to be safe. I grabbed 2. I run back over my place. I give it to my one chef. We start prepping them. 5 lobster tails ordered. 4 only we have. We go grab 1. 5 get to the table.
5 served. Love it.
Perfect.
Love it.
Perfect.
Love it.
So, takeout business pizza.
We'll go back to the originality of the pizza. We're gonna get off topic once in a while.
Yeah,
but still be on the same time.
That's what we do.
Yeah. All right. So takeout business is essentially created in Old Forge.
The birth of it, I think, at that time, is created because getting to the Baby Joe Lettieri story. Place in town started saving their boxes for the restaurants. Whether people, like we said, just were given to them or they purchased them. So now all the places catch on. Everybody's selling it in their dining rooms. Now they're starting to sell it in 4-cut rectangle, squares, size pizzas because they only fit in that shoebox. Salerno's is located on Music Road. It's been there for as long as I know. Baby Joe Lettieri tells me the story. One night at the bar when in my going out days back then, and my father tells me, like I said, it's a lot of the old timers, some who aren't here anymore, most who aren't here anymore. Baby Joe Lettieri is a 14-year-old kid. Friends who lived in the neighborhood, not far, maybe around the block, up the street, would ask for certain times of the day, could you have one of the guys bring pizza to my house? Maybe there was an older woman there who couldn't get out, couldn't walk. A lot of people didn't have cars back then.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Absolutely. Baby Joe Lettieri, this is the first time I've heard of pizza leaving a restaurant, takeout, and being delivered.
I love it.
To a house.
I love it.
He had a red radio flyer wagon. He used to put a couple boxes, shoe boxes filled with pizza in them. And he was only 14 or 15 at the time. He would pull it around the neighborhood.
Oh, the actual wagon. They'd be like a car wagon.
No. The actual wagon.
I got you. The red
he
wagon.
He would pull it around to some of the places, whether his mother or father told him to drop them off, whether they were talking to somebody earlier in the day or the week before, 2 days before. Hey, could you bring them? So he would deliver Old Forge pizza, takeout style, in shoe boxes to people's houses. So now you have Old Forge pizza gone from a speakeasy to the dining room, to a pizza box, in your hand at your table or the bar, take it home. Now people are asking, could you bring it to the house?
Yeah.
The only thing to this day about Old Forge pizza, not one restaurant without the means of services who could come and you could sign up for and deliver.
I get you.
Nobody delivers Old Forge pizza.
That. Yeah.
Not one place. I don't know why that is. I know why I don't do that, but I don't know why other places don't. It just was never. That's the only thing about Old Forge pizza that never caught on.
Why don't you do it?
Why I don't do it? My father sat down with us years ago when we first opened up, and we're one of newer places in Old Forge. We're only open since 1996. A lot of these places I spoke about, they're there from the 60s. Or Karen Janelle's, they bought Lorenzi's, which was my great-grandma's. They bought that in 62. Pat Ravillo and his family, his mother and father bought, I think, Ravillo's in 65. Brutico's has been there for a long time, which now is Cusimano's. So Salerno's is there from, I want to say, at least the 50s. So the places that are still in business now, we're one of the younger ones. My father sat down and said, first thing you do with our pizza, meaning Old Forge pizza, although we just talked about the shoe boxes, take it home, delivering the red wagon.
Different time.
My father said, the moment, and a lot of people feel this way, the moment you take Old Forge pizza out of the oven, put on the tray, cut it, serve it to the table, bring it to the person at the bar. It went from oven, table, cut, tray, bar, 10 seconds. After it's cooked, I mean. Bite into it. Crispy.
Sauce coming out. Oh, man. I love it.
Put in a box. Although we do takeout, put it in a box, it loses something. It does. It really does. It loses a little bit of its quality, especially if it's in the box too long. But to make takeout pizza, Forge, I mean, you sell, a lot of the places sell tons of pizza every night, especially weekends, especially Fridays.
That's probably most of their business.
A lot of it. So to put it in the box and have somebody pick it up, it's all timing. Because you want to try and get it out of the oven, in the box.
Hand it off to them.
Here you go, you don't want to. Yep. I mean, sometimes you have to put on top of the oven in the box, keep it warm. Sometimes people run late. Things happen. But you want to try and schedule it that way every order. And when you're making 60 trays at once, leads up to 80 trays, leads up to 100 trays, leads up to more than that. It's complicated. To add delivery into that
makes sense.
My father said, we're going to hurt our pizza. Maybe other places thought like that over the years, but also my father said, to deliver, it's putting a couple pizzas, driving one here, driving one there. How these other places do it, and obviously delivery pizza business, if you go to the big businesses, Domino's, Papa John's.
Domino's originated the delivery.
Yep. And I watched a story on it on a show called Food That Built America.
Fuck yeah, baby.
Right.
Yep.
How they did it and do it to this day, I'm not really sure. Because
think about the one brother who sold this part off.
Right.
Anyways,
very early.
Missed opportunities.
Right. But
great story, everyone. History Channel.
Great
story.
It's a great story. That's a great
series.
That's a great series. I watch it a lot.
Yeah, it's really good.
Me and my son watch that, and he's
fascinating. All those, every episode is fascinating.
My son's
see the Chef Boyardee one.
I didn't see that one.
You gotta check that one. I won't give it away.
Okay, don't.
Yeah, see how they started that.
Because my son's about to be 16. We're watching it for years now.
16.
He's about to be 16 this summer.
Okay.
But me and him have been watching it for years. He's into history. My son likes history, likes science. But we would watch that show. And when he comes over, we watch it. Then it's on sometimes late at night. If he doesn't have school the next day, obviously we stay up late.
Sure.
So we're watching it. But it's a great show. So I think that's where we decided not to do delivery pizza.
That makes sense.
But the story of the delivery pizza, like I said,
it's fascinating. I didn't know that. That
right.
was great. I love
That's
that.
a great story. And I remember Baby Joe telling me that story. Like I said, we were in his place one night, probably over a couple drinks, sitting there at the bar. Great place, like I said, great family, great memories of there. And he was like, that's it. And then I said, babe, I remember my father telling me that story, my uncle. Then you remember hearing it from other people because, going out in Old Forge, going out to the bars back then or whenever you go out, you see other people have a couple drinks, a lot of stories start getting told. There's definitely some exaggeration, I'm sure, to them.
Oh, yeah,
right.
Sure. That's how stories go.
Right. There's definitely a lot of truth to them. But I mean, super interesting. And that was a great story when he told me that. And like I said, he told me that. I was a kid. And I was like, wow. I said, that's like unique.
Amazing. So, were the trays always 12 cuts? And they finally decided that we need a fucking bigger box?
To my knowledge and to hearing the stories of the history, yeah, the trays were always 12 cuts.
Always 12 cuts. It was the same size as they are now.
Same size as they are now.
But it was just, we're selling a tray of 4 because we only have the box to fit 4 of it.
Right. If you were taking it out, there was in the beginning stages, according to the stories.
They used 4 boxes for one tray, or it was just like you get 4 cuts to go?
It was just 4 cuts.
Okay.
That's how it started.
Okay.
Where the change came in and where the
bigger box
came in, I'm going to be honest, I never heard it.
Huh. There's got to be
someone's
got to know something.
Right. So
anyone that knows, anyone from 04 is watching or listening, if you know the history of when the bigger box came into play, you let us know.
I'm going to be honest with you. Not a lot of people even talk about that.
Curious. I remember going to Gigerelli's Friday night. So let's get into how we grew up eating Old Forge pizza. Because listen, I got to talk about this. This is going to be our main subject. I can see us not doing anything else that I want to talk about.
Just so you know, again, you just brought Gigerelli's. Mm-hmm. I could taste it.
Yeah, me too. So
you can taste the onion.
Yep, I live the sauce, the pepper.
The pepper and the sauce.
I just saw Cosmo's tribute to the
I saw it.
Absolutely amazing. You guys haven't had it yet? Cosmo Cheesesteaks in Scranton on Music Street by Krispy Kreme. He makes pizza on Friday and Sundays, and he has one specific one. It's fried pizza. One specific one called the Jidge.
The Jidge.
It tasted just like Gigerelli's pizza with a fried crust. Friday nights, I'd walk down to Gigerelli's, so we block around the block.
Right, you're right around the corner.
I'd pick up a tray of red and a tray of white. And they always put the white in the smaller box with a brown paper bag. You never got a top.
Nope.
It was always, if you got 2 trays of red, it was one tray with a full box. And then the next box had the box with the brown bag over
Not to interrupt you, but the concept I see behind that is where, like my father said, you put the pizza in a box, it steams up, it loses something, it gets a little
I agree.
Not soggy, gets soft,
soggy.
you know what I mean? The bag with a couple holes cut in it, if you see now in pizza boxes, there's always vents you could pop in.
You need that.
Right, because and you have to let it steam a little bit. We'd pop all of ours. I mean, I'm sure every place does, so you could get a little steam out. But like you said, that paper bag was a way to help let that steam out a little bit more until you got to your house.
The double crusted white pizza.
Yeah.
Double crusted white pizza, which I had to come to your place and make. Teach you how to make that.
Yeah, definitely.
But the double crusted white pizza, it was just, if you never experienced it, the red pizza is a whole league of its own. And people love to hate on it. We got to get into it. People love to hate on Old Forge pizza. People love to hate on Old Forge pizza. And give me a minute. I'm going to get into our next topic.
Sure.
People love to hate on Old Forge pizza. And a lot of times, more than likely, they didn't try it. They hear other people bitch about it for no reason. They hate on it because they just want to hate on it. That's what it comes down to. I'm convinced of. Listen, is it fair that some people don't like it? Sure. There's some pizza I don't like. But to sit there and say that it's garbage, it's trash, it's bread with ketchup and whatever fucking cheese on it, you're driving me nuts. Put your Monster Energy drink down, get some taste buds back into your mouth, put the cigarette down, and come taste some really good pizza. Because the motherfucker finally came to town, and I was in Atlantic City. Dave Portnoy comes to town, and I'm 4.5 hours away. I wasn't so upset, but I was messaging him for years, every once in a while, randomly. Hey, man, because I used to watch his videos a lot. Hey, man, why don't you come to Old Forge? Try out some unique pizza. He comes to town. I need you to take me through that day. When you found out he was coming to town, the whole town got into an uproar.
I got a story for that, too.
I'm listening to it right now. Let's get into it, bro. Let's get into it.
Here's what happens. He pops in town completely unannounced.
That's his style, I think.
Yep. Doesn't tell anyone he's coming. Doesn't put on any social media.
Everybody's closed.
Everybody's closed during the day. There's
our Carriage House is open during the daytime.
Our Carriage House is open.
That's it.
And I'm not sure if Ravillo was open. He's open now during the day. I'm not sure if he was then.
Everybody opened.
Right.
Go ahead. I'm listening. I'm so sorry.
Here's the story.
Yeah.
So, unannounced surprise visit. I'm home. I'm sick that day. I don't feel too good. I'm not like drastically sick, but I don't feel good. I'm like, I'm not going into work today. I said, I'm going to relax today. I think it was a Wednesday, September.
Sounds about right.
2019 or August 2019. I'm not going in to work. So I lay back down in my bed. I get a phone call a half hour later. This is now like around maybe 11 o'clock. They said, did you hear who's in town? I said, what? I was groggy because I went back to bed. I was going to stay home all day. Who's in town? They said, that guy, that one bike guy. I go, who's that? They go, that one bike guy. You know, the one bike guy. I said, what are you talking about? They said, the guy who does the pizza reviews. I said, Dave Portnoy, the El Presidente, or President, whatever he called himself. And I said, he's in town. They said, yeah, he's in town. He's doing reviews.
Is it Portnoy or Portnoy?
I think it's
Portnoy. I apologize if I say it wrong.
I think it's Portnoy.
I think it's Portnoy. I want to make sure I say it correctly. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but I think it's
Dave Portnoy.
Dave Portnoy.
Yeah.
They said he's in town. He's at here. He's at our Carol's right now, our Carol and Janelle's. I said, what? They go, yeah, he's holding a baby, taking a picture. And I was like,
I watched all the reviews. Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
They said he's holding a baby, taking a picture. And that's a great story. They ran up to CVS. They took the picture while he was still in town. They ran up to CVS and they asked him to autograph it. They got it printed out real quick.
No shit.
He's holding the baby with the pizza and everything. What a great. So anyways, back to the story. But that was a good little portion of it. So I'm like, they're like, yeah, he's going around to the pizza place. I'm like, they said, you got to get down there. They said, you have to make him pizza. He's going to go around.
No choice.
I said, I'm homesick. I said, I got to get up. I pop up. I shower. I get in the car. How
excited were you? You'd be a little pumped up.
I was scared. I was
excited. I was a little nervous.
Right.
You know what I mean? Yeah, that's really, really
in the beginning,
really, really cool for the town.
Awesome
for that exposure and for the pizza.
Awesome.
You know what I mean?
Awesome for the town.
Yeah. So go ahead. Sorry.
No problem. Awesome for the town. Like I said in the beginning, I was groggy. I'm like, who are you talking about? And then I was, oh my God, like Dave
motherfucker's in town.
El Presidente is in town. I'm like, it's the pizza guy. So now he's finishing up when they're calling me because he's taking the pictures at our calendar. And I was like, we said with the baby, I figuring he's going to start going around. So I mean, next place probably going to go to is Ravillo's because it's right across the street.
It's up the road.
It's up the road.
It's across the street.
It's across the street.
It's up the road.
It's up the road. So I get up real quick, groggy, don't feel good, low temperature. I jump in the shower, and I'm getting dressed. At this time, he's already in Ravillo's. He's doing the review in there. I come flying down Main Street from my apartment. I live down the road, so I'm coming up the road. Dave Portnoy and Frankie are crossing the street. I didn't see them at the time. I'm rushing to get to my place because I don't want to miss him. I don't know where he's at. He was just at our Carol's. Then I found out he's at Ravillo's. Where is he? Wow, I'm flying. Who's crossing the road in front of me? I slammed the brakes on. Dave Portnoy and Frankie. I go, oh my God. I said, he's right there. I pull up on the right. He's standing on the sidewalk. He's about to walk past the pin across the street from our Karen Janelle's. So he's making his way now up the road. Probably going to hit Cusimano's next. I stop. I said, El Presidente, Dave Portnoy, how are you? He goes, who the fuck are you? But laughing, not in a bad way.
Yeah.
I said, my name's Russell Rinaldi, I said. He goes, how are you? Nice to meet you. And I said, nice to meet you too. I said, what are you doing in town? You doing the pizza reviews? He said, we are. I said, where were you so far? We're at our Carol and Janelle's. He said, we're at Ravillo's. He said, we're going to go to Cusimano's now, Frankie. And if you're standing at the pin and you look towards up the road, I have two big trees in front of my place.
Yeah.
So I have the front sign on my building, which is the front door sign, and then I have a side sign. But you can't see the side sign because the tree's in the way. He goes, and then we're going to go to that place. He didn't even, I almost hit him, number one.
Could you imagine?
Who the fuck are you? Number two, in a nice way.
Imagine you ran him over in time. Imagine you ran him over and finished him off. Like the pizza guy gets killed in 04.
Right. That would not be good. So We're talking real quick, and then he goes, Frank, and then we're going, what's that other place next door? I said, that's Cafe Rinaldi. He goes, yeah, Cafe. He goes, oh, wait. He goes, you just said your name's Rinaldi. I said, that is. He said, are you the owner? I said, I am. He said, awesome. He said, we'll be at your place in about 20 minutes. I said, okay. I said, I'm closed. I said, he goes, oh, all right. Well, then maybe next time I'm in town. I said, oh, no. I said, I'm closed, but I'm going in. I said,
yeah.
I said, a lot of places aren't open during the day. He said, yeah. He said, we're moving around here and Frankie's Googling as we're going. A lot of places aren't open during the day. I said, no. I said, a lot of places open at night. Few are open during the day. So long story short, he goes to Cusimano's. I run in my place. I have 1 or 2 people working during the day. We have some prep cooks. At the time,
oven was on though, at least, right?
Oh yeah, ovens are always on.
Yeah.
Ovens are always on. Well, at the time, anyways, I had a lady who was working for me then. She's making the fresh dough in the morning, anyways. I got a couple guys there. Well, I had one guy there, and the one woman. She's doing some of like the pizza prep. He's doing some of the kitchen prep at night. Ovens are always on. I run in, panicking a little bit. Temperature's hot.
I wish I could have saw you.
I almost hit Dave Portnoy. Frankie's filming. They're in Cusimano's. I'm rushing to get his pizza made. I know he's just going to come in, taste it, talk a little bit, leave. He's just bouncing fast. You know me, obviously. I'm a talker. So what do? I burn his first pizza. He's out front waiting for it on the street. People see him. Now he's at the fourth place.
The crowd's growing. The crowd is big.
The crowd is big.
I keep on seeing pictures on Facebook.
Right.
I keep on getting more and more jealous that I'm not there. Continue.
The crowd is growing from Arcaro's to Ravillo's to Cusimano's. Now he's in town for at least an hour and a half. So now they're following him. Mm-hmm. So he's out in front of my place waiting for the pizza, talking to. Thank God the crowd was big, though. I'll be honest with you. People talking to him, taking photos. There's a baseball card out there of him. I remember on the one video I saw, a kid was having him sign the Dave Portnoy baseball card.
That's cool.
So I'm actually lucky they're stalling him. I burnt his first pizza.
That's awesome.
Burnt it. I pull out the oven. I go, oh my God. I said, I burnt it. I threw in the garbage. I get ready. I make another one. Long story short, make the pizza, bring it to him outside. By this time now, my mother's there.
Oh, yeah.
Which was a big part of the story. My mother's there. My son's there now.
Her faces. I can picture her faces. I just watched the videos the other night because I've been getting ready to come out
it was such a fantastic day. My mother's there. The crowd is big. And what happens? If you remember watching the video.
Go ahead.
We have a guy not from town. Dave rates my pizza. Gives it a 7.6. Mm-hmm. Guy in the background screams, like you just said, Old Forge pizza, no good. You got to try Maroney's, he says.
Got some. Oh, yeah.
You got to try Maroney's.
Maroney's is good.
Maroney's is great.
But it's not Old Forge pizza.
It's not Old Forge.
No.
Pepperoni on that fucking pizza?
Same style with the rectangular tray, the 12 cut. Cheese is different. Dough's different. Completely different.
Yep.
But great.
Very good.
Maroney's, I love it.
Recommend it.
Been eating Maroney's as a kid.
Fucking cup pepperoni on there.
That cup pepperoni is so good. That pizza is so good.
Anyway, let's not go to Scranton. Let's keep it in Old Forge.
Keep it in Old Forge.
Yeah.
But Maroney's, fantastic family, fantastic place.
Yeah,
great pizza. Anyways, this guy screams out, the crowd. If you go back and watch the One Bite app and you go to that episode, the crowd goes crazy. My mother standing on the street, leaning against her car. My son's there. I'm there. Dave's right next to me. And Frankie's filming. Frankie pans to the guy. You could see it. This guy's, the crowd, there had to be in front of my place at that time 200. There were about 200 people.
The balls to say that.
180.
Yeah. 180.
Frankie pans the camera over, and all of a sudden, the camera, let's say this is the crowd, this is the guy, and the crowd goes over here and over here. This guy's standing there by himself. That's it. And he was like, and Frankie goes, my mother turns around and looks at him dead in the eye. And Frankie pans over, my mother looks at him, and Dave goes, whoa. He goes, that sounds like fighting words over there. My mother goes, or Dave Pointer goes, you should get that guy. My mother said, no, he's entitled to his opinion. He said, my mom goes, Maroney's is great pizza. He said, he's entitled to his opinion. My kid screams out, this is 5 years ago. Mm-hmm. He's 10. He goes, get the mafia after him. Dave looks at my son and he goes, yeah. He said, yeah, that's right. He said, that's right. And then the guy starts apologizing. Nobody wants to hear it though. At that time, you made your mark.
Yeah, for sure.
So we go on with the interview. We go on with the review. Dave finishes it. Crowd disperses. He's going to his next place. The guy comes up to me after the interview. He says, I want to tell you, I'm so sorry. He said, I love your food. I'm just not an Old Forge pizza guy. I said, like my mother said, I said, you're entitled to your, he was shaking.
You gotta pick your timing.
Definitely
bro.
a wrong time.
The wrong time to do it.
I chase Dave Portnoy down the street. He's parked across the street from our Karen Janelle's in their dirt lot, across from their restaurant. And him and Frankie are loading their stuff up, getting ready to go to the next place, which was, they said they were going to Salerno's after this. I run down and chase him. And if you watch, a lot of people haven't, if you watch the review of my place, you have to stay to the end. They're parked in the parking lot. I run over. I knock on the window. He rolls the window down. Obviously, Frankie just starts filming because he films every time Dave starts talking to somebody. And then if they edit it, cut it, add it. I said, Dave, I had to tell you something. I said, the guy came over to me afterwards and started apologizing. He goes, and we start laughing. It's like a 30-minute thing. We're talking. Me and him are laughing our asses off. He goes, I thought somebody was going to kill that guy. I said, he goes, and to clarify, he goes, how about your son? He goes, my son said, get the pizza mafia after him. That's what he said, the pizza mafia.
Yeah.
He goes, how about your son? He said, how he screams out, get the pizza mafia after him. I said, yeah. I said, yeah, he watches a lot of TV. I said, but it was just a really good, like, start, middle, ending. You know what I mean?
That's
it was great.
really, really cool.
And I'm going to tell you something. You watch a lot of his stuff, and again, it's only my opinion and my take on him. A lot of people like him, a lot of people hate him. I mean, that's just normal in the world. When he was in town, he was such a cool, like, down-to-earth, like, it was almost like he was from here.
I get it.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he said, at my place, he said, this crowd's getting, he said, like, I go to a lot of places. He said, I've done hundreds of reviews and I get big crowds. He said, I don't know if I've had crowds like this before. He said, people are like, you guys like really have something here. He said, people are like coming out of everywhere. I said, obviously they're coming for the pizza too. I said, but they're coming for you. I said, Dave, I mean, it's you. You're like you're a star, especially when it comes to pizza. He said, yeah, I know. He said, but these crowds, these people coming up with the autographs and their phones, and he said, people handing me babies. He said, he goes, people handing me babies. He said, that doesn't happen. He said, I feel like I'm home here. He said, this is a great town. He said, this is a great town. He said, you guys have a lot of, history here. He said, a lot of tradition here. He said, I'm so glad I came here. I'm sure he says that about other places too. And I'm sure maybe he says other things about, I don't know. But what he said about Old Forge, and he was like, what a great little knit community. He said, this place is great. He said, I'm coming back. He said,
we got to get him to come back.
Oh, we'll get him to come back. I'm going to tell you what, he loved it. He told me he loved it. He loved all the places. He loved, and getting back to what we said about before, he said, I've never seen so many pizza places in one area.
Oh, it's amazing.
Congested, he said, in one area where everybody loves the next owner. He said, I do reviews, other states, cities. I'm in New York. We're at a review here, right next door. He said they want to chop each other's heads off.
I bet. Yelling,
screaming, fighting, this and that. He said, you guys? He said, because he said he did a little history on it before I came up. He said, you guys? He said, everybody gets along. Everybody compliments everybody. I heard you guys help each other out. Like we said before, you borrow stuff from one place to another. You guys patronize each other's places. You go in and have dinner. You get takeout. I said, there's so many places in Old Forge. Like, if you even think back to, like, a lot of the owners. Like, for instance, I used to work in Brudico's restaurant. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's other people, other restaurant owners who used to work in other restaurants and now they own their restaurants. You know what I mean? Like, it really is. It's a great town. And when I always say it's a great town, I don't want to knock any other towns because I don't. But I know it's our town.
Yeah.
We know a lot about it. We grew up with it. We feel it. You know, it's a great town. And he was like, this place is great.
It really is. Growing up in the town.
And it was awesome to hear him say that.
Yeah.
Because obviously, there's a guy who goes around to a lot of places. His job is to review pizza. You know what I mean? And I mean, he obviously knows it. You know, whether it's his opinion or not, but it's definitely a little bit of his expertise, I would have to say, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's Dave Portnoy. So
even that pizza, you're going to become a pizza guy. You know what I mean?
So, I mean,
For
you have to take his word for it. He gave all the places great scores. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And his whole personality that day and the energy in the town, it was fantastic. I'll tell you what, he left my place, I wasn't sick anymore.
I love it.
It was like I was healed.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
I love it. Man, I so wish I was there. Then
It was great.
Then he came down this way to the valley. He did a bunch of places. Definitely love to get him back in here. And people make comments like, so I do pizza reviews. And was my inspiration from him? Yeah, probably. I mean, a lot of people inspired to do like good ideas. You know what I mean? You know, DiMattia's Food Fight page is a lot more than just pizza, though. I mean,
right.
I just got done reviewing the Double Big Mac.
Yeah, I saw that.
The Double Big Mac I didn't post it just yet, but it was the Double Big Mac. It was.
Oh wait, no, not the Double Big Mac. You did the cheesesteak.
I did the cheesesteak. I just did the Wendy's breakfast baconator.
You did the Wendy's breakfast.
You ever have one of those?
I didn't.
Holy shit!
But I will try it.
There was no grease. I was impressed.
Really?
I was impressed.
I will definitely try it. I mean, it's definitely.
It was definitely.
I'm a food guy.
Yeah, I know.
I like to eat. I mean, I do a lot of healthy eating as well.
We both do.
But right.
Lifting and exercising and all that stuff's important. But we also get our food in because.
But I do some dabbling.
We get away with it.
In the bad food.
Yeah,
I do.
Get away with it. You know, there's so much more I want to talk about. We're running out of time, so I want to stick with Old Forge pizza. People, I'll do pizza reviews and. People, I mean, I did a review with my niece and my nephew with Carley and Janelle's. Carley and Janelle's was my first Old Forge pizza review. Now people are like, "Oh, you got to get down there more." I'm like, "Yes, I know. I grew up with that. I grew up with that pizza. I eat it all my life, every single place down there. Don't get me wrong. I reviewed your place. I did some filet stuff for Carley and Janelle's. This did Largo's.
Yep, that was a cheesesteak one.
What a niche in town.
Yeah,
I'm like, there's no place like this in town. There really was never. And they said and when I walked in, I met them. They were great.
Great people. They were just at my place for dinner Saturday night.
They said that we were so nervous about moving into this town. This is a restaurant town. She goes, but overwhelming support. I'm like, I go, absolutely. Even if you sold Old Forge pizza and raviolis, you would still get support.
Definitely.
You know what I mean? As long as you guys do your part, which they, you know, just being a good citizen, just being a good neighbor, and it's great.
They're great people as well. Like the other businesses, I mean, they're hard workers. Yeah. They're good business people, and they're good friends.
And Old Forge is a food town. Now you got a McDonald's and a BK in there. I'm a big BK guy myself, but they have their places in the town as well. You know what I mean? But if people just fucking hate on Old Forge pizza for no reason. Oh, it's trash. It's bread with cheese and ketchup. It's this, it's that, it's that, it's this. It's like you never even had it. And then people say, oh, the white crust, the double crusted white pizza. I think that was sent from heaven. Like somebody, it's like here's this gift to the world. Here's this double crusted white pizza, and it's just I can't get enough of it.
Do you know?
So good
to this day, and I don't know where the double crust.
That's my next question.
I don't know. Nobody ever talked about it.
Someone had to originate from somewhere.
I'm going to be honest with you. I think that the invention and the beginning and the birth of Old Forge Red Pizza at the time and up into this day, which is now well over, I want to say 100 years, it was so powerful and strong that people are still amazed about it.
Yeah.
How it happened, where it happened, what did it, who started it, that they didn't even start asking questions about the double white yet. They still can't figure out the red.
I love it. Then people are like, oh, it's just Sicilian pizza. I'm like, it's not Sicilian.
It's Italian grilled cheese sandwich, they told me.
Oh, God.
Who doesn't like a grilled cheese number one?
Yeah.
But it's not a grilled cheese. But I'm just saying, it's completely different. It's completely different.
People call the double crusted white grilled cheese.
Yeah, I've heard it before. It's just an Italian grilled cheese sandwich. Number one, an original grilled cheese sandwich with a bowl of soup or something is fantastic.
Yeah,
but a grilled cheese sandwich and a double crust white Old Forge style pizza is not the same thing.
It's two completely. It's apples and oranges. We're comparing. Is it cheese and bread? Sure. But it's completely different.
But
people are bozos.
Right. It's a whole different invention.
People hate on the town for no reason. And I get it. You know, they want to hate on it. But then again, most of those people are just miserable. They bitch about everything. Like my page, you're on my page a lot.
Love your page. Top fan.
Top fan. You comment a lot on the page. And the page is growing really, really well.
I like all the food pages, but I follow yours. Yeah. I mean, I follow all. I follow yours.
I follow all of them too.
I follow yours because I know you very well. You're from town. Mm-hmm. I know we grew up a block, like we said, 2 blocks away from here, 8 houses away.
I keep it positive.
Right.
I don't put any posts about.
No, you're good. You're great.
I'll blast some McDonald's and some BK and some chain restaurants once in a while, but I try not to. But as far as a local mom and pop shop, I've said this before. I'm on here. Who am I to blast a piece of pizza I don't like?
Right.
You know what I mean? Because I don't like it. The other 8, maybe they might like it. You know what I mean? But I'm not going to post that. People are like, you got to be honest. My reviews are honest. I don't post my bad reviews because no one needs to know about it from me. You know what I mean? Keep it positive and all that kind of stuff. People make comments though. Like someone made a comment about, place A. Oh, those French fries there suck. Well, why do you even feel the need to say that? You're a restaurant owner. Close it up. You're a restaurant owner, Russ. You know what I mean? So you deal with it all the time. People want to just come in there. 99 of 100 people have a good meal, but then you hear about the bad meal. And then other people hear about the bad meal. It's just how it is, It's just, I think there's just some people out there, like you said, they just, for whatever reason it is, they just want to knock it. I don't know who hurt them or what happened. I don't know if they choked on Old Forge pizza when they were younger on accident and they hate it now.
No, we all know this. As the years go on, more people are knocking. I mean, we're discussing Old Forge, but just in general, more people are knocking more places on the internet because it's a lot easier to do it sitting on your phone or your computer in your living room than in your actual place that you had the place.
Yeah, Northeast PA in general,
right?
Northeast PA has some of the best pizza. I don't care. People, you got to travel more. Travel more where? There's hundreds and hundreds of pizza places here from transplants from, you got to go to Jersey. Well, the guy up the street is from Jersey.
Right.
The 2 guys down the street there, they're from New York. They get water shipped here. So don't tell me it's fucking location. Don't get me wrong. I hear what you're saying. Now, my fiance is from Jersey. She brings me pizza home from places. One particular place called Pizza Masters. The pizza's amazing. It's like 8 hours old, and I fucking love it.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I like pizza everywhere.
Me
I don't
too.
hate on pizza anywhere.
I haven't. I'll be 47 years old. I'm probably eating pizza that I can remember since I'm probably about 4.
So just think about that.
I have never ate a piece of pizza in my life in Old Forge, out of town, in the country, out of the country. I haven't ate a piece of pizza in my life where I hated it that much that I would go and bash it, put it down.
You might not eat it again.
I just might not eat it again.
But there's no need to bash it.
No way. Like, there's people who really, get their gears going, bashing it. They really do.
They do get their gears going.
And when you read some of their comments, I could actually picture them.
They're getting so upset. Monster Energy drink.
I could picture them in there.
Yeah.
And you know what's amazing about the bashing? And I said this. We said it before we started, but I've been saying this for years. A lot of people bash Old Forge Pizza, and there's so many places who advertise it and sell it also out of Old Forge. Oh, yeah. A lot of places, and I'm grateful for that. I'm not. I was in Vegas at a bachelor party in 2005. There was a place out there in a strip mall. I think it was 2005. I remember the year. It's the year Syracuse won the national championship with Jerry McNamara. Right.
Yep.
I think he was a freshman.
Scranton native. Yep. He was a freshman.
It was the year he won it. We were at our friend's house who lived out there. We were coming home, flying home. They played on a Monday night. We were flying home Tuesday. We stopped in a strip mall. He said, "You'll never believe it. There's a place out here that sells Old Forge pizza, red and white." I said, "Get
I'll
out
have
of
to find
here."
it next time I go out there if they're still around. I'm going back in August.
It was in a little strip mall. It was in a little neon sign, Old Forge pizza, red and white.
No
We
shit.
went in. We got a couple trays. And they sold wings. We got a couple trays, couple wings. I think we probably got some beer at the time I was drinking. And we went back to his house. We watched the game. We ate pizza, wings, drank some beer, went to bed, got up, and took our
Felt like
flight
you were
home for
home,
Tuesday.
probably.
I'm going to tell you what. I mean, in Vegas, in the desert, Old Forge red and white pizza was good.
Can't beat it.
No, it was good. I mean,
it.
you're almost 3,000 miles away. There's a place selling Old Forge pizza
Yeah.
that you happen to just be around the corner of your friend who lives there
I love
on
it.
a bachelor party, watching Syracuse win the national championship.
Scranton native.
Right. I used to go to basketball games to high school and watch Jerry
At the
McNamara play
Hampton game.
against us.
Yeah, me too. I
Right.
used to
He
go
used to
there
play against
with my
us.
friends.
What a
with Bishop,
fantastic player he
I
was.
have friends with the Bishop Hannon, so I would go hang out with them and watch
Right.
those games. He always smashed us.
He was
we smashed the
fantastic.
Red
He was
Devils, yeah.
fantastic. But that's my Vegas pizza story, and it all like a little bit like 4 or 5 memories all tied into one.
This whole area has amazing pizza. Russ, speaking of food, we have here a cookbook.
We do.
Wise guys love to cook. Who wrote this book?
My father.
Tell us just a little bit about that.
Well,
just a little bit.
My father, like I said, going back with his great grandma, his grandma, his mom, my dad. My dad, I actually I posted a photo a few years back on my Facebook. There's a picture of my father cooking with his mom in the kitchen of their house.
Right there?
This right here is my father's. I want to say this is my father. I think this is my father's mom when she was a child.
Okay.
Cooking with, that's her father, I think. I'm gonna have to look at that.
Okay.
There's a picture of him cooking, and I posted it. And then there's a picture of my son that I took when he was a kid, sitting on the back porch of my restaurant with the apron on and the hat.
Yeah.
And I posted them back to back. But anyways, getting back to the book, or I post them side by side. My father, always been a food person, always been a cook, always been a chef. Definitely lived a pretty interesting life, as you could see with the title. His dream was always to write a book, always to express it with probably, his passion, which was food, obviously food, family, a lot of the things that like is embedded in Old Forge. So he writes a book. He gets cancer though for his 3rd time, and he passes away in February 2016. The book comes out in April of 2016. My sister's a writer, editor, so she helped get it to publish, and she helped get it, edit it and
That's great.
get it going. And she was helping him during it, but when he got the cancer for the 3rd time, my dad was first diagnosed when he was 49. Then he came back again at 69, and then he passed away at 74. But he wanted to write the book. He wanted to incorporate with what he liked to do, cooking, his passion, food. And he has about 14 recipes in here, but also with the recipes, he has 14 stories
I see that.
for each dish.
Yeah.
And it goes along with it. And you have to read it. For people who knew my father, they read it, and there's still some guys. There's not many left, but there's still some of his friends. They come in the restaurant, and they're like, we read that book your father wrote. They're like, and it just takes them back because they knew my dad, and they grew up back then. They were around him at that time. And then for people who don't know my dad, maybe like people like our age, your age, younger, maybe even a little bit older, but just don't know him. They read him, and then they come back, and they're like, wow, I read your father's cookbook. That is so neat. Like the stories, the recipes, they entwine with each other.
I love that.
It's really it's an interesting book. It was a great concept. I mean, it was great that I would have loved for him to see it go to publish.
Of course.
You know what I mean?
Of course, yeah. It's his dream.
My father started jotting this stuff down, and my sister has it still, in like a wire ring notebook back in like 1992. My father's like me, terrible handwriting. Terrible.
Handwriting too. Oh,
Terrible.
God.
Lefty. I'm a lefty. My son's a lefty. Terrible writing. My sister was going through this with him because he put it on pause a little bit as well, and then he got back to a pause. Now, not this book. My sister probably has at least another, she said anywhere around maybe about another 90 recipes with another 90 stories.
No shit.
This is only 14. There's only 14.
Amazing to see how that is, right?
She has so many more that she could get out there and start to publish and do it. And maybe she will decide doing it because she has the she got the rights for my fire and everything because she's the one who helped him. But what a great it's a great book. It's a great story.
Thanks for sharing that. Russell.
Yeah, definitely.
Now, are some of these recipes available at your restaurant?
Some of the dishes?
Some of the dishes available at your restaurant?
Most of them, the ones that are in here,
Yeah.
most of them aren't.
Okay, I understand.
And my sister put them out that way on purpose.
That makes sense.
Right.
That makes sense. I like that.
Like, for instance, there's one recipe in here. It's beef tornadoes over garlic toast. Now, do we serve that occasionally? Sure, we'll put on special, something like that. Not on our menu, though.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I mean, there's a marinara sauce in here that my dad made off of his grandma. We make that.
Okay.
I mean, he makes it a little different in the book than
compared to the
restaurant because, I mean, obviously you don't want to give your recipes away to anybody, you know.
Not in our town.
Right now.
Anyways, Russ, I appreciate you being on the podcast. Us talking about, I had about 15 other topics to talk about.
I'm coming back.
We didn't hit one. So there's gotta be a part 2.
Definitely.
So Russ, tell everyone where they could come, where everyone that's listening could come eat your food, come see you, all that kind of stuff, man. Plug yourself.
Okay. Well, here, I'm going to plug Old Forge, but I will plug myself. Cafe Rinaldi is located in Old Forge, Pennsylvania, 426 South Main Street. We're in business now at that location since we bought the place, like I said, January 6, 2000. We opened in April. We're open right now, Wednesday to Saturday. We do catering on and off premises. We have takeout. We have full bar. We have full restaurant, 180 seats. Anything on the menu, appetizers, salads, pizza, steaks, veal, chicken, pastas, homemade stuff. I mean, a lot of stuff. But I know we're talking about my place, but I mean, anywhere in Old Forge you go, it's golden. I mean, depends on your likes, depends on your taste. Everyone has a little bit of a different tweak to theirs, a little sweeter, sauce a little thicker, cheese is a little, blend is different, whatever.
Sure.
But
we didn't even get into that.
We didn't even get into it. But Old Forge is just a great place. I mean, it's on the map for a lot of, reasons. It's on the map for coal, obviously, when it first was founded. It's on the map. A lot of famous people from Old Forge as well. But I mean, the restaurants, and the other businesses there as well, not just restaurants.
Sure.
I mean, there's a lot of different places you can come to Old Forge for a lot of stuff. But I mean, we're discussing food now and pizza and the restaurant industry. Old Forge is just tradition, passion, family. It's just a great place. I mean, if you have a chance, stop by.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. I completely agree with everything you said. Lived there my whole life. I live in Kingston now, but people ask, where are you from? I'm from Old Forge, but I live in Kingston. I'm always going to be from Old Forge. Always from Old Forge. Get yourself down the main street, have some pizza. Friday nights in town, you drive through town, all you smell is pizza. There's no other smell.
Fantastic
like
aroma.
There's no other smell like it. Well, Russ, thank you for being on Food
You're welcome.
Fight.
Thank you for having me.
Yep. My name is Brian DiMattia. This is Food Fight on the Stacks production.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome. For more content, follow DiMattia's Food Fight page on Facebook and subscribe to On the Stacks YouTube channel.